Good afternoon or good morning, where I'm from. I welcome you to our digital forum for the House Committee on Natural Resources. Today's forum is on GAO's preliminary assessment of FEMA's response to the 2018 Pacific disasters. Unfortunately, due to other demands, our FEMA panelists canceled at the last minute and will not be joining us today. But we're here virtually with the panelists from the Government Accountability Office, GAO. So, Mr. Curry, we're very grateful for your joining us today for your participation. So, Public Law 116/20, the Additional Supplemental Appropriations for Disaster Relief Act 2019, is providing billions of dollars to assist communities impacted by hurricanes, typhoons, wildfire, earthquakes, and other disasters in 2018 and 2019. The same law directs GAO to conduct audits and investigations related to these disasters, including Typhoon U2, Super Typhoon U2, and Typhoon Mangkhut, which struck the Marianas and Guam almost 2 years ago, and in Hawaii, Hurricane Lane and the Mauna Kilauea eruptions. So the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, is responsible for leading and coordinating the federal disaster response and recovery efforts. FEMA Region 9, which covers the Hawaii and the U.S. Pacific areas, was on the ground early and involved heavily in efforts to assist after these destructive events. Today, we will hear from Mr. Chris Curry, the Director of GAO Homeland Security and Justice Team, about the effectiveness of FEMA's response, the challenges to responding to disasters in the Pacific Islands, what worked well, and opportunities for improvement based on feedback from state and territorial officials. And I would hope when a final report is put out from program assistant recipients and vendors. While our comments from local officials were generally positive, I recall the issues that arose during the first few weeks of the U2 response, including checks and notices addressed to physical locations when U.S. mail delivery in the Northern Marianas is limited to post office boxes, long waits for damage inspections, and delays in opening an intake center and a disaster recovery center. As a matter of fact, this congressional office had to step in to help constituents submit claims over the phone and online until FEMA was up and running. As recovery progressed, I began hearing from vendors, and I still hear from them today, who were not getting paid promptly for work in support of response and recovery efforts. So there were administrative issues, obviously, but funding, however, has been generous. The GAO reports FEMA has obligated $788 million in disaster funds to the Northern Marianas, Guam, and Hawaii. $541 million has gone to the Marianas alone for U2 and Mangkhut recovery. So I'm grateful for the aid Congress and taxpayers have provided to fellow Americans in time of need. And I know that we have an obligation to taxpayers to keep watch over these federal funds. Once these federal funds are spent wisely and are fully accounted for, which is why we're here for today's forum. Now, I would like to recognize and thank my colleagues for joining me today.